Copy 724, right. Center maintain 2000.
Center maintain 2074.
Comment 504 to center maintain 3000.
3000, comment 504.
In this video, we're gonna continue working on the airspace. So last time we were talking about the class Charlie airspace, and we said that what are the requirements. The basic requirements was must be met in order to enter the class Charlie airspace. So we said uh, a person must establish two-way radio communication. So the first question I wanted to cover is like, what is this establishment of the uh, when I say that the communication must be established? What does that mean? So what it means is like if a controller responds to a radio call with aircraft call sign standby, that means that you have established the radio communication and you can enter into the uh, um, Charlie airspace. Okay, when departing a satellite airport, meaning uh, like which does not has the ADC and which is under or very close by to Charlie airspace or uh, Charlie airport with the ADC and everything. So when you are departing from a satellite airport without an operative control tower located within the class Charlie airspace, what requirements must be met? So yes, you can take off without actually informing the ADC, but the requirement is that you should establish and maintain two-way radio communication with the ADC facilities uh, as soon as practicable after departing. So yes, you can take off, but as soon as practicable, you should establish and maintain the communication with the ADC. Okay, and this satellite airport is like which is next to the Charlie airspace. Okay, what minimum weather conditions are required? So remember for the VFR flight, and we are talking about the Charlie airspace again. So the VFR flight operations within Charlie airspace require 3 statute miles. It's very similar. It's a little bit lenient compared to the Bravo airspace, but still we need 3 statute miles visibility. Cloud clearance should be like if you are in the air, it should be 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above, 1,000 feet above, and in terms of like the horizontal distance, it should be 2,000 feet visibility, clear of the cloud. I mean, it should be, and there shouldn't be any clouds. Uh, 500 feet below you, 1,000 feet above you, and 2,000 feet from in the horizontal direction. Like this is the minimum weather conditions for the VFR. Okay, how is class Charlie airspace depicted on the navigational charts? So first of all, let me tell you like what charts are there which are going to be showing you. So the charts which are going to be showing the Charlie airspace are the sectional chart, IFR, en route, low altitude, and the TAC. Just the same ones which we have, which are depicting the class Bravo airspace, and they are depicted by solid magenta line. It's a solid magenta line. That's how they are depicted. Okay, what minimum weather conditions are required when, oh, we already covered that, right? Yes. Okay, what type of air traffic control services are provided when operating within the class Charlie airspace? I'm just gonna name them out. So basically, what they do is like very much similar to the class Bravo airspace. They can sequence you So that's one of the services provided by the ADC sequencing. And then they can provide the class Charlie services within the class Charlie airspace and the outer area. That's another thing. And also the radar services beyond the outer area on a workload permitting basis. They can, even if you are outside, they can actually give you the radar services. These are things which they can do. Okay, describe the various types of the terminal radar services available for VFR aircraft. So the terminal radar services, and we said the Charlie airspace does that. Terminal radar services. Okay, I'm just gonna name them out here. So basically, the basic radar service is one. Then we've got TRSA service. Then we have Class C service. Then we have Class B service. Okay, these are the services which are provided. Not going into too much detail here, but the basic radar services is like the safety alerts, traffic advisories, right? Those are the basic radar services. TRSA is the radar sequencing and separation services. They're gonna tell you what's gonna be your landing number, what's gonna be how much far. Like they're gonna be telling you exactly in order to sequence you for the takeoff, landing, and everything, and in order to separate you from the other traffic. Class Charlie services is this service provides, in addition to the basic radar services, approved separation between the IFR and the VFR aircraft. So the Class Charlie is going to make sure that the IFR aircrafts, they or the and the VFR aircraft, they are separated. Uh, Nine. And the Class Bravo services, like in addition to all that, uh, they do all of the things like the TRS sequencing and separation, the basic one, the Class Charlie one, they do all of that. So basically, you can think of this Class Bravo as a combination of all three of them. Okay. What is Mode C altitude encoding transponder equipment? Where is it required? So we have this Mode C. We have been talking about it. Mode C altitude encoding transponder. So where is it required? So remember that at or above 10,000 feet from the sea level, mean sea level, uh, we're gonna need that. We need to have this mode C altitude encoding transponder if we are gonna be flying above 10,000 feet. That's one of the things. So above 10,000 feet. Okay. Uh, and then within the 30 miles of the Bravo airspace, primary airport, below, if you are below 10,000 feet. So above you definitely need it, right? But if you, even if you are below, but you are like uh, within the 30 nautical within 30 miles of Bravo airspace, you're gonna need that, right? If you are within and above all Class C airspace up to 10,000 feet, so that was 30 miles close to the Bravo airspace. But if you are above or inside the Class Charlie airspace, you're gonna need that, right? And a couple of other ones are like if you are flying into or outside of the United States, you're gonna need that, and within 10 miles of certain designated airports, right? Uh, like you can have some, even the class delta airspace and class Charlie airspace. If there are some designated airports, uh, you can you may need this mode C altimeter sorry, altitude encoding transponder. Okay, a few more questions we're going to be covering. What is the maximum speed an aircraft may be operated within class Charlie airspace? So the maximum speed is, if you are inside the Charlie airspace, is 200 knots. You shouldn't be exceeding more than that. What is the class Delta airspace? So again, class Delta, the in order to be sure, you're gonna be cross-checking the sectional charts, but in general they go from the surface to 2500 feet. That those are the limits, the low and the high of the class Charlie Delta airspace. And they definitely have an operational control tower. That's another thing. Those airspaces, uh, the airports in those airspaces definitely has the control tower. And the last thing I wanted to cover is, like, when operating an aircraft through class Delta airspace or to an airport within class Delta airspace, what requirement must be met? So again, it is the same as class Charlie airspace, where a person must establish two-way radio communication with the ATC facilities, providing air traffic services prior to entering that airspace, right? So again, just establishment, they should call your tail and then say standby, or just calling your tail would be sufficient enough for the establishment of the two-way communication. Those were the questions I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching.